Hi everybody, it's Zoe here from defineyourrich.com. I don't usually do video or audio recordings or anything like that, but I was kind of feeling inspired today, so I thought I'd just jump on and see where it goes, and if it sucks, I just won't post it, so you'll never see it anyway. So yeah, I'm actually at home right now for the next 2 weeks. I recently had some surgery. I actually got a breast reduction done, so really excited about that, but I'm just kind of in healing and relaxation mode. Been sitting in my bed for the past couple of days and just binge watching podcast or binge listening to podcasts. And I stumbled across a podcast that I'm obsessed with. I watched pretty much all of them. I think there's like 66 episodes, and I listened to like at least half of them in the last couple of days. But it's the Badass Business Babes podcast by Lauren Liz Love. And I'm totally obsessed with it. I think it's amazing. And if you haven't checked it out, you should hop on. I listen to it on Spotify, but you can get it on iTunes and all that stuff too. And she was in this one podcast, she was talking to a woman. She was doing an interview with a woman who was talking about using like the feminine woo, your feminine energy, to make progress in your business. So she was talking about like the feminine energy and the flow, how your period affects your creativity and your kind of seasons of business that if you're in the business world, you've heard about, and then kind of allowing and acting based on this feminine energy that all of us have. And it just kind of got me thinking about my own personal experience about my finance degree. For those of you who don't know, I have a Bachelor of Business Administration with a double major in finance and management. And so I spent 4.5 years doing that degree, and listening to this podcast just gave me so many like revelations about like, holy crap, like that's why I am the way I am with money. And I'm going to get into it a little bit more later, but I thought I'd start out and just kind of explain what feminine and masculine energy is and where it stems from. If you are a male, you have both. You have feminine and masculine, and if you're a female, you have feminine and masculine energy. Everybody has both. It's like the yin and the yang. Everybody's got. You need to pull on both at different points in your life, and really, they should always be acting together. And that's when you're kind of in the vortex, as they call it, right? When we talk about manifesting. So masculine energy is all about, if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at my notes, so that's why I'm looking. But masculine energy is all about being and doing, and the feminine energy is about allowing and acting. So I'm going to read you what I have written down here. So feminine, she is powerful, loving, caring. She allows herself to trust, have faith, to lean back and observe. There is no energy of desperation, neediness, lack, or brokenness. So when we talk about manifesting and we talk about like those downloads and we get like in the flow with the universe and we're communicating with the universe, that is very feminine energy. So receives divine intuitive downloads. That's the feminine that you're tapping into right there. Masculine energy is the energy of action. It is the creation engine, the driving force that acts out of self-love. It acts in faith-based on the intuition of the feminine. Oh, okay, sorry. So that's what I read. So this is where the balance comes in. So the masculine is all about doing and acting and getting out there and producing something. And the feminine is all about kind of receiving the information and ideas and flow. When they're in balance, the masculine will act sorry. The masculine will act based on the intuition of the feminine. So the feminine is the decision maker, wears the pants in the relationship, and then the masculine goes out and does whatever that intuition is telling him to do. And I mean, it's not him and her, it's you, right? Masculine and feminine make up you. And I actually watched, kind of a side note, but I actually watched a documentary about the Egyptian culture, like back old Egyptians, on Netflix. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it was super, super interesting. And they talk a lot about this. The Egyptian culture is very knowledgeable, I guess I would say, about the feminine and the masculine energies and how they work together to create like this beautiful society. So I'll put it down in like a description so you guys can go and watch it. But it was super, super interesting just about how this knowledge has been around for so, so long, and we've known about it for so long, but with kind of the patriarchal society that we live in now, the feminine has gone kind of by the wayside, and it's seen as weak and needy and, you know, can't get things done. And that's not necessarily the point of the feminine, right? And that's not true either. Like, it's not needy, it's not weak. The feminine is super powerful. And, you know, if you've ever met a strong woman who is, you know, embracing her femininity, I think that nobody in their right mind would ever say that the feminine is a weaker energy to call upon. So, back to what I was talking about. Sorry, tangents. So when we're out of balance, when the masculine, it comes down and it becomes scarcity, acts without intention or alignment, and it's really focused on like strategy, logic, numbers, return on assets, budgeting. That's where it focuses. And if it doesn't have any intuition from the feminine, all it wants to do is just like drive through that wall. Like, it just wants to keep acting and keep, no matter what, if it's a good decision or a bad decision, it just keeps driving. If you're out of balance with the feminine, it becomes unorganized. And if we're talking about money, because that's sort of where I'm going with this, it manifests in bills don't get paid, they don't get opened. There's lots of debt that can happen because there's no action. There's just, and I think that this is why people think that the feminine is weak, because without action, nothing gets done. And, you know, I understand where it's coming from, but I think once it's in balance, that's where the magic happens. So the story that I was getting to with this is when I was in university and I was doing my finance degree, I was very focused on the masculine side of money, right? I mean, doing a finance degree, we're doing a lot of studying, calculations, numbers, math, charts, logic, and there was not a lot of intuition or flow or divine guidance, because they're when you're talking about math, that they're, you know, you can get inspired, like inspiration, but that's not really what I was doing, right? I was just like, here's a calculation, figure out what the square root of whatever it is. I don't even know what I did in those 4 years. It's so long ago, I can't even remember what I learned. But yeah, so for those 4.5 years when I was doing my degree, I was very masculine energy focused. And so when I came out, and it really did serve me. I accomplished a lot when I was in university. I came out of university with no student debt. I bought my first house when I was in my second year of university. I came out and I got an awesome job in the finance industry. You know, that masculine energy really served me. But now that I'm not in that study field, you know, go, 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 need to get stuff done, need to push through those walls, I found that it's kind of hindering me at this point, because I am no longer needing to focus so much on that. And now when it comes to money, I have the opportunity to get in this flow and be receptive and, you know, look at money as energy and rely more on my feminine energy to kind of guide me on what investments to make, or what should I do with my blog or my business, or where I should go with my career, where do I need to focus my energies, you know? And it's not just so much my relying on my masculine, like, okay, I got to get this paper done, okay, I have to do this calculation, okay, I have to, you know, finish this presentation. That's very the masculine, like go, go, go. Whereas now when I have some time and I can step back and I say, okay, you know, what do I want? Where do I need to go now? What feels good? What would be an intuitive decision? It's not, yeah, I mean, I think you guys get what I'm trying to get at, you know? So it really messed up my beliefs around money, and now I only know how to interact with money in a masculine way. That's my point, is what I was getting at. So I think now that I'm at this point, it's really important to, one, to recognize it. So it's awesome when you get kind of that download from a podcast or a book or a blog post or whatever. But now, what do I do with it? So now we want to make a balance, get a balance at the end. So this is what I've been trying to do over the past couple of days, more and more. I'm trying to balance the energies, my feminine and my masculine. And what I found is that your higher self always knows what's right, right? You're never going to get to a point where your higher self goes like, okay, well, how do I do that? Like, I don't know. You've been relying so much on your masculine energy, like, I don't know how to do my feminine stuff. That's never going to happen. So your higher self always knows. So what I've been doing, and this is a good exercise for any point in your life, for, to, if you want to see what you really want in life, if you want to see sort of what your next steps in your business should be, if whatever it is, this is a really good exercise to do. But I also find it's super balancing for my masculine and feminine energies. So what I've been doing is taking a look at my higher self and what is the version of myself that how do I want to be? What is my higher version of myself? What does my ideal self look like? And how does she act around money? What does she do? How does she feel about it? So, as an example, right now I'm just finding it hard to manifest just cash. Let's just do that. Let's, as an example. So I'm not awesome at manifesting just straight cash. I'm really good at manifesting other things like trips and houses and all of that, because I feel like I can move the energy around it of those things, if that makes sense. So when it comes to travel, I feel like it's this like living, breathing activity, this thing that I can put energy into and take energy out of and transmute it and all of that. But when it comes to money, I feel more like it's like cold hard cash, or when you picture money, it looks like a big stack of money on your hand. It looks like a brick, right? And that's how I feel about money right now, is that it's this brick that I can't like pull apart or make a part of me or anything like that. So if that makes sense. I know that's a little strange way of talking about it, but yeah, it feels different. And so when I think about my higher self, what would she think about money? How would she treat it? It's totally different than that, right? Like, my higher self knows that money is just energy, and that if I want more of it, I can just ask the universe or, manifest it in any way. There's a billion different ways that money can come into your life. So when I am trying to balance out my masculine and feminine energies, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, okay, what would my higher self do? How would she feel about this situation? So, for example, me and Evan, my boyfriend Evan, just went out for dinner at Cactus Club the other night, and we spent like $100. Like, it wasn't that expensive, especially for Cactus. And I was sitting there, and I was like, "Oh crap! Like $100. Okay, I have to put in this I have a spreadsheet, I have a budget, I have all of that stuff from, back when I was in school, and I still use it. But so I'm like, okay, I have to put all of this $100 in my spreadsheet. Oh my god, okay, does that mean how much are we gonna have for groceries next week? And you guys, I am not at that place, right? Like, financially, I am quite well off. I'm not at a place where I have to be concerned about $100. That's not where I'm at. But it's still like an instinct. I still go to that place every time I spend, more than $20. I'm like, oh my god, okay, where's my spreadsheet? How am I gonna do this? Am I gonna have to like put a little bit less into my savings account this month, or whatever it is, whatever my mind jumps to? And I caught myself. I broke that pattern, and I said to myself, okay, I don't want to feel like this right now. What would my higher self do? How would she feel about this $100 amazing dinner that we just had with our friends, it was somebody's birthday, how would she react? And I was just like, well, she just wouldn't worry about it. Like, it's just not, it wouldn't even be an issue. Like, you pull out your card, you pay for the dinner, and that's it. There wouldn't be an extra, she would just be grateful that she was at dinner with her friends and her family. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So I sat there and I just turned it off. I just turned off that worry. I turned off that stress, and I think that that's not an easy thing to do. I think that I've been working on my money mindset a lot lately, and for like a long time too. Like, I have known about The Secret and the Law of Attraction and vision boarding, and I've been working on my goals for years, like since I was 16 years old, so 8 years or so. Um, but yeah, and that's sort of where I went. And then all of a sudden I just felt at peace. I felt so good. I felt amazing. And then, of course, because this is how it works, I came home and we had a letter in the mail, and there was a $50 gift card to the keg that somebody had sent us for a real estate deal that we had just done with them. So, it comes back, right? Like, it's the flow of money. Money comes in, money goes out. It's there whenever you need it. It's, you just have to get into that right mindset, right? And you have to balance your energies and understand kind of why maybe you're freaking out. Maybe that would help some of you. But anyway, I've talked for a while. So, action step. I like to give an action step with all my blogs, and hopefully with my video blogs, I'll continue to do this. But yeah, action step would be listen to your higher self and then do one thing that it tells you to do. So for me, when I listened to my higher self, it said, shut up, basically, and just relax. Like, it was just like, stop. But for you, maybe it's, and maybe you rely more on your feminine than you do with your masculine for money in this case. And this applies to all areas of your life, obviously. It's not just money. But maybe you rely more on your feminine. So maybe your higher self will tell you to open your bills, or create a budget, or I don't know, track your spending for a month or something. Maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you do need to rely more on your masculine energies to get your money in order, and you need to take some action with it. Whereas for me, and maybe for others too, you need to rely more on your feminine with the energy. So for me, it was just relaxing, but also being okay with spending. And a really good, I'm still working on this too, so I'm not perfect at all by any means on this, but for me, what I find really is a good exercise, especially if I'm feeling really caught up in my masculine energies around money, is to do something with it, like to spend it or to give it away, or to, just enjoy it. Or even if you don't have, necessarily the money to spend, which, it happens, right? Just use something that you've been saving for a special moment or a special day. Like, use those good incense, or use that bath bomb from Lush, or like put on those good pair of shoes that you've not worn for a while because you don't want to get the soles wrecked. I don't know if I'm the only one that does that, but that's what I do. But yeah, just like tap into your higher self, see what she or he wants you to do, what the next, and maybe it isn't a step, maybe it isn't an action step, maybe you're just like me and you just need to shut your mind off. So in that case, meditation might be helpful for you, or creating a vision board, or listening to an upbeat podcast or something that kind of snaps you out of that old pattern that you are stuck in. So that is all I have to say today. I'm super proud of myself that I actually talked for this long. Oh my gosh. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'll post this on the blog. Comments below, or send me an email or a DM on Instagram. You can find me at Zoe Weaver, ZOEY.WEAVER. On Instagram, send me a DM. Tell me if you liked this format of presenting this information to you. Tell me if you found it helpful. If you prefer the blog posts, if you prefer to read, let me know that too. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'm excited to have done this video for you. So thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you. I hope you have the most amazing day ever. I hope you win some kind of contest today. That's my intention for you today. And thank you again for listening. Love you so much. Thanks. See you next time.